In Unit 3, Learning Set 6, we are going to look at another way to calculate the average daily balance. And this way is a more visual method of looking at the calculation. So we're going to calculate the average daily balance using the credit calendar, and then we'll calculate the finance charge using the credit calendar. These are the list of steps, and they'll be available in the notes. That what you're going to do is we're going to look at Elena K's credit card statement to verify the accuracy of her average daily balance that the credit card company reported. So instead of reading all of these to you, I'm going to simply walk you through them using the credit statement here that Elena has, and this gives all the normal information such as the account number, the billing date, the payment due date, the transactions that occurred within the billing cycle, all of the information on the bottom, and it even gives us the average daily balance. So we're doing it this way to verify that the balance that the credit card company calculated is correct. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a grid of 7 by 5, and this gives us 35 boxes, 7 columns because there's 7 days in a week. After we create our grid, we want to put these little arcs on the bottom of it, so that will be a placeholder for our days once we date the grid. So before we do that, we need to figure out how many days there are in the billing cycle. So when we look at her billing statement and we go down to this bottom section, they tell us the number of days in the billing cycle is 31. So we are going to count 31 boxes and then mark off the rest of them. So that would be 7, 14, 21, 28, 29, 30, 31. And we want to mark off these last 4 boxes. And starting from the billing date, that would be the last date in our cycle, we would put our numbers in going backwards. So on the bottom, this would be 13 for November, all the way until we get to 1. And then because October has 31 days, we would start with 31, and this is what it would look like. So start with 13 on the bottom, and then keep going backwards till we get to the 1st of November. And starting with October 31 because there's days, so the first day of our billing cycle is actually October 14th. The next thing that we want to do is start off by putting in our transactions that are different. So if we look at this, on October 25th, we bought at House Depot something for $67. So we're going to add $67 to whatever our balance is on the 25th. On the 29th, we shipped something through the Bubble Wrap Shipping Company. So add $55 on the October 29th. And then we made a payment on November 5th for $160. Okay, after we do that, we know our previous balance at the beginning of this cycle is going to be $829.30. So we will put that in for all of the boxes until we hit October 25th, because on the 25th we did a transaction for $67. So that means our balance is going to increase on the 25th, and it will stay that new balance until it hits the next increase of $55. So basically, what we did is for the 25th, we took $829.30 and added 67 cents. That is our new balance. And we carried it through until we hit the next transaction on October 29th. And then we added $55 to the $896.30. And then we carried that balance through until we hit our payment date where we sent in our payment for $160. and that is going to decrease our balance to $791.30. After we have our calendar filled out, it's really easy to look at this and calculate what our daily balance is going to be. So, for example, we know starting on the 14th, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days for $829.30. So it would be 11 times $829.30. And then we would continue. So starting on the 25th, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4 days at $896. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days at $951.30, and then 9 days at $791.30. And we have a total of our sum of daily balances is $26,488.30. And then to find our average, we would simply divide by 31 days because we had stated that is our billing cycle was 31 days. So the average daily balance is $854.46. Is there a better time during the billing cycle when Elena could have made her payment so that the average daily balance would have been less? So she made her payment towards the end. So that means her balance wasn't low until the end. So if she had paid closer to the billing date, that would have caused the average daily balance to be lower because the outstanding balance for the dates following the payment would also be lower. So now we want to determine the finance charge for Elena's billing cycle. So we're going to take our average daily balance that we calculated, and we want to multiply it times the monthly rate. So if we go back and look at this, our APR is $16.98. And if we didn't have the monthly periodic rate listed here, we could simply divide that by 12. But in this statement, they already calculated it for us. So the monthly periodic rate is 1.415%. So that means we would convert it to a decimal, multiply it times 854, and we would end up with 12.090609. So knowing that we're dealing with money, which means 2 decimal places, we know our finance charge is going to be $12.09. So when might Elena have made her purchases during the billing cycle in order to decrease her finance charge? Well, you want to try and keep the balance down as low as you can for as long as you can. So if you bought something at the beginning of the billing cycle, then that means it's going to keep your balance up high for a long period of time. But if you buy items later in the billing cycle, then because it's not high for very long, your average daily balance is going to be lower, which would result in a lower finance charge.